Are you looking for a new whiskey adventure? Then climb in and buckle up. Get ready for one hell of a ride on the Whiskey Trip podcast with your host, Big Chief. Join in as he and his guests explore whiskey and dive into whiskey stories from around the world. Now here's your host, Big Chief.
Hey, it's old Big Chief, and yeah, you're taking another ride on a whiskey trip, baby. And do I got a guest for you today? Introducing Caleb, the Texas Whiskey Geek, a true aficionado of Texas whiskey and a seasoned explorer of the Lone Star State's vibrant distillery scene, with a passion for uncovering the hidden treasures and unique flavors that define Texas whiskey. Caleb brings a wealth of knowledge and enthusiasm to the Whiskey Trip podcast today. Join Caleb on a journey of discovery as he shares his insights, reviews, and personal experiences with a diverse world of Texas whiskey, from rare finds to local favorites. Caleb's expertise and genuine love of the craft shine through in each pour he does, offering listeners a taste of the rich heritage and innovative spirit that make Texas whiskey truly exceptional. Get ready to embark on a whiskey adventure like no other with Caleb as your guide on the Whiskey Trip podcast today. Raise a glass, sit back, and let the exploration of Texas whiskey begin. Cheers to a memorable trip through the flavors and stories of the Lone Star State's finest spirits. Caleb, welcome to the Whiskey Trip, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Big Chief. Always good to see you, man.
Yeah, now let's talk about your channel, Texas TX Whiskey Geek, Texas Whiskey Geek. When did you get started in this?
Like most, it was kind of a pandemic project. I discovered whiskey before the pandemic started, and I was just like posting pictures and having fun. But it really kind of evolved into like something more serious when I realized that there's not like a way to, like a single source to go to figure out what's happening at local distilleries. And that's when I decided to start doing like Texas whiskey news and things like that. So,
well, man, you're doing a bang up job of it. I'll tell you that. I see your stuff out there. You're putting out news. You're letting people know what's going on the Texas whiskey trail, in the state of Texas, what's hitting the markets hard and stuff, and I love it. You're where I get my source of news for the Texas whiskey trail and distilleries in the state of Texas. Now, I got in my glass this red corn from Steel Austin. I like to call it Jimmy Red Corn from King of the Hill. I raise a toast to the first Jimmy Red Corn. He passed away after the first season, but this is what I got in my glass, 100 proof, bottled in bond from them, a beautiful whiskey. What do you got, Absolutely. My brother?
I am drinking the new Provisions bourbon from Milam Greene. That's their latest release, and it's designed to be an affordable whiskey. But man, this thing packs a lot of flavor. So,
now you said affordable whiskey. They were going for that, they do have some other, and you'll see one right there that's signed by the ladies at Milam Greene, and we're going to give that bottle of Milam Greene away at the end of this. Like I said, it is signed, so that's like a collector's edition right there. You can't get no better than that. But they also wanted, besides those, because they're like $80, what's that Provisions go for?
$34.99 is the MSRP on the Provisions.
So they are trying to break into that market and get something out there that all the consumers, the blue collar guys like myself or like you, we can go ahead and obtain bottles like that.
Yeah. Easy to obtain. You should be able to find it on shelves pretty easily. It's and 48% ABV. Man, this thing packs a lot of flavor for being only 48%, so.
Now, how many distilleries are in the state of Texas currently?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I haven't looked it up.
I would say
I know that
80,
I follow a lot of them.
80 plus right now is the number out there without putting an exact number on it. 80 plus. And then there's Texans drink about 4.2 million 9-liter cases of whiskey a year. That's a lot of whiskey when you really put the number down on it. California is number one in the nation, but Texas is coming on. It's the fastest growing whiskey market out there. So it would make sense that Texans would be drinking that much whiskey, and we'd have a growing number of distilleries. While other states are having distilleries shut down, Texas is just growing by the numbers. People were putting out great whiskey and stuff. Now, putting that in comparison, 4.2 million 9-liter cases. Jim Beam produces about 17 million 9-liter cases a year. So we're drinking a little over a quarter of that. That's a lot of damn whiskey.
That is a lot of whiskey. That's a lot that we consume in Texas. That's crazy.
Yeah, you would think that those bigger companies would try to get a bigger foothold here in Texas. Right now, or actually this past weekend, was a Kentucky Bourbon Festival. And shining a light on Kentucky bourbon. You know, that is the home of bourbon, the bourbon capital of the world. There in Bardstown is where the KBF is. But, you know, why not have a big giant festival like that here in Texas? And you talk about festivals here in Texas, and we got quite a few of the festivals like that. Nothing that's 4 or 5 days like that, but walk us through some of the festivals we have here in Texas.
Well, the big one is obviously the Texas Whiskey Festival. That is my favorite festival because it is literally just anybody making whiskey in Texas, and that's it. So they usually, the last event, I think he had over 30 distilleries there. Or is what? That could be a wrong number, but he had quite a few distilleries there, and the place was packed. It was fantastic. There's some other festivals that come through town that usually go, you know, through different states. You have Whiskey X. You have Whiskey Washback. That's happening in Dallas a little later this year. We have one that happens locally is the Galaxy Whiskey Gala, and that typically focuses on Scotch whiskey. I know to some people that's a bad word, but that's where I got started in whiskey was Scotch. So, what else have we got? We have there, you know, I'd have to look at my website. There's a whole bunch listed on there. So
yeah, some of my favorite ones, like you said, the Galaxy Whiskey Gala, and I like to say that it's focusing on single malts, not just Scotch. And Texas is really coming on with single malts with both Balcones and Andalusia. You know, two companies out there that are distilleries that are just producing these American single malts that are absolutely beautiful and stunning. But then you got festivals like here in my region, Southeast Texas. You got the Southeast Texas Whiskey Festival put on by Longhorn Liquors. It's for a great cause.
Yeah, don't let me forget that one. That's in January.
It is the first whiskey festival in the state of Texas every year. And then you got the Houston Whiskey Social. Houston is a giant out there. As many of you listeners hear me talk all the time about Houston and how big it is and how much whiskey they consume. And probably one of the largest growing markets in whiskey would be the Hispanic community consuming whiskey. Over 50% of Houston is Hispanic, and they are loving some American whiskeys out there.
Oh, yeah. If you go out to Giant Texas Distillers, which is based in Houston, they have a huge following of just the Hispanic community out there, man. In fact, Julian, you were just out there, right?
Yeah, Julian, he's Colombian. He's Hispanic. We were just there and just did an episode with him, and it just shows you the diversity of the Texas Whiskey Trail and how large it is. And you know, you travel all over the place. You were just in San Antonio. You live up in the Austin region. Why don't you take us through the Texas Whiskey Trail and how large it is?
Yeah, so the Texas Whiskey Trail spans the entire state, quite literally. They have distilleries that are part of the Texas Whiskey Association, and by being a part of the Texas Whiskey Association, you're automatically on the trail. But all the way up to Amarillo and all the way down to San Antonio and everywhere in between, you know, Denton, Dallas, Houston, Tyler. We have distilleries all over the place that are part of the association. It's everywhere. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't have numbers of exactly how many are on the trail right now. But I could look it up.
Yeah, you're right. From being on the Gulf Coast with giant Texas tails down in Galveston, over to East Texas, we were talking about Keepersaw, Texas. It's a vineyard. They got Jimmy's bourbon. I can see that batch 2 right up behind you back there that I said was the best whiskey in the state of Texas right now, a 10-year-old whiskey out of there. I know I just shocked some people saying they got a 10-year-old whiskey out of the state of Texas. But then you go up north to Denison, to some of my favorite folks up there, the licorices at Ironroot, and that's what I'm going to be drinking on the second half. I see a couple bottles behind you. I know you're just a big old geek on Texas whiskey, and I know you love Ironroot. You can't not love them, right?
Yeah, they're right behind me, right there.
So, the Texas Whiskey Geek. What do you do? What's your mission out there from your show?
So it stems from my passion, and my passion is Texas whiskey. You know, I have a passion for once I've gone out and visited some of these distilleries and realized how passionate everybody is about what they're doing and what they're doing here in the state of Texas. I was just so impressed by that I wanted to, share that with everybody. Texas whiskey tends to get a bad rap. People are like, oh, Texas whiskey, that's not good stuff. But you'd be surprised. I've found some amazing whiskeys here in Texas that I don't think I would have found anywhere else, and so my goal is really to just get people to learn and understand and explore their backyard. Really, I think that's what I keep saying. Go explore your backyard, because you're going to discover some hidden gems. You're going to discover some amazing whiskeys that will rival anything else that you've ever had.
What's one hidden gem out there that in this past year that you've picked up, that you've found, and you're just like, man, this thing just blows my mind?
I get that almost every place I go to. You mentioned earlier, I was just down in San Antonio. I was just down at Ranger Creek Whiskey, and some of the stuff they're doing down there I'm blown away by. Like, these guys are the master tinkerers when it comes to whiskey. They're doing anything and everything. Someone throws out an idea and they're like, yep, let's do it. Let's try it. So I was just down there yesterday, and they're doing a red, white, and blue bourbon. You've heard people do red, white, and blue. Usually it's like red corn or red winter wheat or something like that. This is all corn bourbon. So it's all red corn, all white corn, all blue corn. And it's still got some time to go in the barrel, but man, that bourbon was blowing me away. I was like, holy cow. I can't wait for that one to be released. So.
Isn't that awesome whenever you get to taste something that's not quite ready yet, but you can taste the greatness in it and see where it's going to go, and it kind of just blows you away, and you're like, man, I can't wait till this is ready. And whenever the distillery is honest with themselves and says, hey, this ain't ready yet, but I want you to try it, I love those moments right there with distilleries and getting to experience what they're put out. Now, San Antonio isn't a region that I've got to explore yet. I went down to Devil's River a couple years ago, just kind of peeked in real fast, but that is one of the stops, kind of my next exploration in Texas whiskey. And once I do that, I would say that I've probably conquered the Texas whiskey trail. Not that I did the most podcasts or most shores about Texas whiskey, but I pride myself in taking care of my home state and making sure the distilleries feel the love here when I come and visit them and stuff. So there's not a very many that I haven't been to or reached out to and say, let's do something together and stuff. From Treaty Oak, which is kind of going through a rebranding right now, down to San Antonio, to the Gulf Coast. Like I said, Austin obviously has it going on with several different brands. Now, recently there's been some news come out that Fierce Whiskers was going to be purchased or go out of business, one or the other. Very quiet about it.
They did shut down their doors. There are rumors of being purchased. I can't say, I don't know exactly what's happening there, but hopefully someone good picks them up and gets them going again, because they had a beautiful rick house.
Oh, the rick house there is probably the nicest rick house in the state of Texas, I would say. It's just really beautiful. It's kind of Kentucky style rick house and stuff, but to me, it's amazing. Now, Texas right now is producing the third most whiskey in the United States, obviously behind the giant there, Kentucky, that's just pumping out whiskey unbelievable right now, and even more people are building distilleries there and stuff. And then obviously Tennessee with Dickel and Jack Daniels. They put out a little bit of whiskey, but Texas is coming on. You got places like Balcones that has these just the tallest pot stills in the world, four of them big giant jokers. And then you go to Giant Texas Distillery with their 42-inch column steel that's going to be, I could go swimming in that damn thing. And then I understand that Steel Austin, besides their big old 50-footer they got, they're putting in more steels and going to be producing more whiskey. That's just a few of them out there. And then you got Garrison Brothers out there running those pot stills, making good whiskey. Yeah.
They've been expanding too, and I know Ironroot is expanding as well. They're getting bigger warehouses to store more whiskey and let it age longer.
Now I think somebody's been saying that there's a downturn in whiskey. Matter of fact, I did a whole show on it. But on that show, I said, I don't believe craft distilleries are in a downturn. Craft distilleries are producing more. They're preparing for the future. They're winning their markets. Do you see that?
I would say yes and no. I think it just kind of depends on the craft distillery and kind of how much of a following they had before this rollback, I guess you would call in consumerism. But yeah, there are a couple that I have noticed are closing up shop, unfortunately. But it's not been a lot, compared to what what the news is saying, what I see on the news versus what's actually happening. So,
to me, I'm not saying there's misinformation out there, but to me, these craft distilleries are winning their markets and they're making sure that their consumers are getting what they want out there, especially whiskey nerds like the two of us, that we just want to see something. I go up to 1845 and there's no stopping their game. They're just trying to put out as much as they can. Like you said, Ironroot, they're doing more. Giant is not stopping at all. There's no slowing up with them. It doesn't seem to me that Garrison Brothers or Steel Austin is putting any brakes on. Did you see Ranger Creek? Were they putting the brakes to it at all?
No. They're so they have a brewery there too. So they make beer, but they are getting excited about some of the stuff they're doing in international markets. And they have some beers that they're making exclusively for international markets, which is awesome, but they're also, utilizing what they have in house for some of those, bourbon barrel aged beers are kind of a big thing. And Amburana is kind of a big thing in Europe. And they have some Amburana, things that they've been sending out that way. So it's been good for them. As far as I don't see them slowing down at all, honestly. So,
well, that's a good thing. I think that's a real good thing. So each week, how do you produce? How do you create new content every week? Do you have like a drop dead date of the week? I know it's every day. It seems like you have something you're putting out. But what's your schedule look like?
well, I'm glad it seems like every day. I do a 9 to 5. I have a Monday through Friday job. So I have to focus on my content either on the weekends or after. But I do throughout the week, I am taking all sorts of notes on my phone about what's happening in Texas whiskey. And then I'm either plugging it into my website or I'm plugging it into Notes app so that every Thursday or Friday I can do a Texas whiskey news, telling everybody like what's happening or what the big events are happening in Texas whiskey over the next week. I try to get that out before the weekend so people can be like, oh, that sounds fun. Let's go check out the Laguna Madre drop at Garrison Brothers this weekend, or let's go do a cocktail class over at Hush and Whisper Co. or something like that. So
yeah, I think you do a great. I'm always amazed. I'm like, how the hell does he get all this information? And you gotta just be like me. Before I do an episode, I gotta kind of dig in and make sure that I have an idea in my head how I want the show to roll. But creating content is not easy, especially when you do have a regular job. I call it my adult job is what I do. I have to do some adulting every week. And then whiskey kind of takes my mind away from my regular job. And it's a delight to talk to other whiskey people out there. Now, along your journey in the last couple of years, because you said you started this around COVID, how have you built your community, and who are some folks out there that have really helped you out?
It is really folks in the Texas whiskey community, especially on social media, that have been helpful. Like you've been a big supporter, and I appreciate that. Folks that are also passionate about Texas whiskey, Jake, who runs the Texas Whiskey Festival, he's awesome. Anything I ask, he's like, yeah, let me help you out. So. And then you've got others within the social media space that have been very helpful. Emiliano, he's a distiller over at Still Austin. Some other content creators, Cinna Bourbon, Film and Flask. You can find those guys all on Instagram and TikTok. They've all been big supporters of what I do, and I try to support it back. So
man, you name some, to me, giants in the Texas whiskey trail kind of social media influencers. I don't feel like that this is going to sound bad, but I don't feel like that I do enough for other social media influencers. I always feel like, hey, can I do more? Can I help somebody out? And any chance I could get, can I raise that person up and help them out? Or whether sharing content, sharing information with each other. Emiliano now, my brother out there, he's been on my show before, and one of the guys that has watched me since the very beginning with my old show, The Bourbon Road, and now with the Whiskey Trip. He has just been a great supporter and stuff, and I love to support him. But like you said, obeying it with Film and Flask, him and Sin Bourbon are just two great guys. I bumped into them up at Still Austin, and really not at Still Austin, but out at their, I would call it their undisclosed location out in Lockhart that not a lot of people get to go to, but I was invited out there and bumped into them and met them and stuff. And what two great guys. And then Jake, you talk about, man, with the Texas Whiskey Festival, anytime you have an idea how to promote and expand Texas whiskey, Jake's down for it. He's been on the show. What some great guys right there. And I love that you featured those guys right there, because they are what it's about, truly uplifting other people within the community and stuff. And that's what this is all about, helping each other out, because I think all of us do have, besides Emiliano, he's getting a little bit of bourbon, the bourbon dream every day. But he takes time out of his day. He works for Still Austin, but you might not find another guy that loves Texas whiskey and travels to other distilleries. And to me, the Texas Whiskey Trail needs to just do a show with that guy right there, because he just, man, he oozes greatness. I love seeing somebody like him and how he promotes it and stuff. Not just, he could do Still Austin all by itself, but I mean, he's all over the place. If I say, hey man, I'm in Tyler, Texas, he just pops up out of nowhere. Hey man, I'm here. And I'm like, oh shit, you're here. Okay. Or he says, hey man, when you're in Austin, let me know. And you're always welcome to Still Austin. And I love that fact right there. What's, before we go to this break in the first half, what's one distillery that, if you could go over and over and over and over to, what's your favorite? You got to have a favorite, baby. It's like a kid.
That's like if I have multiple children and I have to pick a favorite, Man, I don't know that I can say that there's one particular favorite that I have. There's just, every distillery has something different to offer, something new. But yeah, I do find myself at Still Austin quite a bit. I do find myself at some of the distilleries that are just local to where I'm at. So yeah, that might be it. Balcones, I go up there quite often.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I have a kind of a special place in my heart for certain distilleries, and to me, there's nothing wrong with that. Having that backyard. Somebody said, hey, you're always go over to Giant. Well, they're 90 miles from me. They're really the closest Texas distillery I can go to. But I love them because their tasting room there is just monstrous, and the food's great, the scene's great. I'm actually going
pretty
to
good too.
The what's good there? The whiskey?
I said the whiskey's pretty good too.
Yeah. I think they know what they're doing there. Julian is a student of the craft, and I've actually kind of watched him over the last couple of years kind of grow up a little bit and, hone his craft, and become a better distiller. And I love seeing that. So I know what you're saying about kids, because I got 2 kids, and I can't tell you which one's the favorite. They both are great to me, and you got to love them equally. And that's how I feel about distilleries. Each one of them brings something different, a different craft. And, it's how they promote themselves and how they carry themselves. And whenever I see somebody working with you, that tells me something about that distillery, because they're not after the shiny penny out there, the shiny influencer that's there right now. And won't be there tomorrow. I will guarantee you that. You get somebody like the Texas Whiskey Geek that's going to be there for a long, long time, doing it the right way and promoting Texas whiskey the right way. And that's somebody you want to work with. And I love seeing distilleries work with guys like you, like myself. We're built for radio, right?
I've got a face for radio, yeah.
You've seen me in person. We've bumped into each other, and I'm just a big old, kind of like Shrek walking around, just a giant guy that just has fun and will tell you like it is. If you want your feelings hurt, I'm probably the guy to do it. I'm not going to hold back, and it's just how to live life right there.
That's just a modicum of respect, though. You can't just be honeycoating everything for everybody.
That's true. That's definitely true. Well, Caleb, we're at the first half right here at the end of the first half. When we come back, we'll keep digging into the Texas Whiskey Geek. We'll we'll see what he's going to pour for the second half, and we'll see about giving away that bottle of Milam Greene right there that is signed by the three ladies at Milam Greene. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Leaper's Fork Distillery is an artisan distillery working to bring back the history and heritage of a small batch whiskey production to Williamson County. The distillery crafts premium spirits using local ingredients and limestone filtered water to create superior spirits with a signature taste. Yeah, you know I love their wheated bourbon. Leaper's Fork Distillery is characterized primarily as a low-volume, low-impact concept of production. They are excited and honored about bringing back a lost art and industry to a county that always puts its history and heritage at the forefront. Visit them today at leapersforkdistillery.com. Hey, listeners, we're back for the second half, and I got the Texas Whiskey Geek here, Mr. Caleb. Caleb, man, what are you drinking on this second half here with us, my friend?
I'm going to pop some Ironroot Hubris, the corn whiskey from Ironroot, Denison.
Man, you talk about a woman that knows about corn. Marsha will give you a dissertation on corn and the percentages of corn you have to have, what the yield is out of a bushel. She will go to school on your ass about corn, and I love it. Anytime I get to sit down with the mother of Texas whiskey, it is amazing. And folks, if you haven't been up to Denison, Texas, and visited Ironroot and the Licorice family, you are missing out. If you're in the DFW area, you got a rental car, get in that rental car, drive north, go up there and visit this distillery. You will not be disappointed. And I guarantee you'll leave with a bottle.
Yeah.
I'm actually sipping on this Ironroot Harbinger. Now, this was the first bourbon outside of Kentucky to win World's Best Bourbon in 2020. Man, and I got some exciting news coming up, folks. I'm going to be doing a barrel pick with Poor Decisions Rick House Facebook group and Staves of Honor, my good buddy Seth over there, on hopefully a barrel of this right here. But we'll see what Ironroot puts out there. I was promised it's going to be north of 120. Will it be north of 130, maybe 140? We will see. But if a Big Chief's involved in it, you know it's going to be amazing. So make sure you look out for this pick.
It's going to be delicious. I am excited to try your pick, man.
Well, I'm excited about it because it supports a veteran organization, and as a veteran myself, there's no better cause. I don't know what the proceeds from each bottle, but some money from each bottle will go towards Staves of Honor, which is a new charity out there, and I want folks to check it out and make sure that you get your hands on one of these bottles because, man, it's going to be an amazing thing. It'll be out around the first of the year. Now, we were talking about events, and I got an event for you, Caleb.
Okay.
With Texas Whiskey. Blue Bolt on the November 6th is Blue Bolt Spirits is a brand out there. Will Malley, he's actually active duty Marine, enlisted man. He's part owner of Blue Bolt Spirits, not a Texas brand, but he sources his whiskey out of Texas, and he's going to be putting on a 250th anniversary ball at Giant Texas Distillery on November 6th. Now, folks, this is going to be an amazing ball. You don't want to miss this. It supports a good cause. And it's the 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps. What better way to dress up Texas formal? What does that mean? Probably a white dress-down shirt, a jacket, and a cowboy hat. If you've seen me at a whiskey festival, usually that's what I'm wearing. But yeah, that sounds like an amazing event, doesn't it?
It does. I've actually got that event on my radar. So, since you're talking about it, how does someone find out more about this event, or how do they attend?
Oh man, I knew you were going to ask that. Now I got to look at my phone, which I hate doing in the middle of an episode, but I will. Real fast here, folks. Now, Blue Bolt Spirits. If you haven't had his stuff, he has Had some amazing bottles, and you'll see Blue Bolt on his bottles, but it'll say like 250 on there. And then you'll see each bottle's numbered 249, 248, 247, and those barrels go really, really fast. But there's going to be a bottle there. I'm trying to pull this website up real fast here for you folks. This is the inaugural Blue Bolt birthday and charity event. Mm-hmm. And my phone's being super slow on me right now. Probably because I don't have it on the old Wi-Fi out here in the country.
Let's see. I have tickets and sponsorship info, blueboltspirits.com.
Yeah.
Where we get it.
Or you can go to Whiskey Valor Foundation as well.
Okay.
And either place, givebutter.com is another place you go to and look up the details on it. At Giant Texas Distillery, like I said, on November 6th, this year right here. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be supporting several different things. Whiskey Valor Foundation is one of them. If you haven't checked those folks out, if you're into supporting veterans, make sure you get on this event, and you can give. You can give to this event right here. Now, you can be a platoon sponsor for $1,000. You can be a company sponsor for $2,000, or you can be a battalion sponsor for $5,000. Now, they each come with something different. You'll get some guests to get to go to those. For $1,000, you get 2 military members, veterans stuff. And I'm going to be at that event with my cowboy hat on, with old Will. I'm not a Marine, but my baby brother, old Little Feather, as I like to call him, he's a Marine. He did 23 years active duty, and one less than the old Big Chief, by the way. But come to this event, please. Help veterans out. There's a lot of veterans out there suffering right now. There's homeless veterans out there. And I think what a great cause. Texas Whiskey, Giant Texas Distillery, is helping out with this and stuff. And I would love to fill that big old giant tasting room up with folks with Texas formal on and drink some whiskey with the old Big Chief over there.
Go support the veterans, man. Yeah. Absolutely.
So each week you're producing stuff. You've also started helping out a little bit with the Texas Whiskey Trail. Why not working for them? You're helping produce stuff for them. What are you doing?
Yeah. So Natasha, she's the current head of the Texas Whiskey Association, who owns the Texas Whiskey Trail. She approached me because they're trying to get a little more of the word out about the Texas Whiskey Trail, and she's like, let's get influencers involved. And I don't know that I like to call myself an influencer more than a content creator, because I don't feel like I influence anybody. But so yeah, we started helping them out. The Texas Whiskey Trail is now putting out a monthly newsletter about things that are happening in Texas whiskey, events that are happening, some articles about, this last one was about Bourbon Heritage Month and Hispanic Heritage Month. And they highlighted some Hispanic distillers in Texas. They highlighted some great bourbons that are being made in Texas, which I'm shocked that people still think that bourbon can only be made in Kentucky. But yeah, so we put out an article. Some of the folks that I mentioned earlier, Cinnabourbon, Emiliano, Pierre Bernal, who's up in the Houston area. I'm sorry, he's in the Fort Worth area. Let me get that right. We've all kind of joined together to help them get the newsletter out, and we're planning on doing that every month. If you guys want to be a part or get that newsletter, it's really easy. You just sign up at texaswhiskey.org, scroll down to the bottom of the page, put in your email address, and you'll get that every month. So
I love it. Now, is there different levels on the Texas Whiskey Trail? If like folks visit every distillery, is there something to that?
They have simplified it. They've gone away with, they used to have an app that only worked like 10% of the time. they've got rid of that because it's just was frustrating. So really now it's just encouraging you to join the mailing list so you know what's happening in Texas whiskey. Go visit those distilleries on your own. Do your own thing, and then we're going to feature people that visit the trail. If you're on social media and you go visit a Texas Whiskey Trail distillery, just post a picture or do hashtag Texas Whiskey Trail, and who knows, you might find yourself featured in that newsletter.
See, that's awesome right there to feature actually people. And Caleb, I'm going to tell you, you are an influencer, because when I watch your stuff, I'm like, God damn, I'd love to go do that event right there. So that, to me, that's influencing somebody else and making them want to go out there and get on the trail and get some Texas whiskey. And the Texas Whiskey Trail should be, the distilleries out there should be grateful for what you're doing. That's a true influencer right there. In the break, we were talking about kind of being an influencer and how we both feel about being influencers, and always still shocked to this day about how our community is and how generous our community is to guys like both of us. But you're definitely an influencer. Are we both pretty influencers? No. But the right passion is there, right?
Yeah.
And beauty's in the inside. I will tell you that.
Okay.
I mean, my wife thinks I'm beautiful. I know you're a married man. Your wife probably thinks you're a handsome gentleman, right?
Yeah. She's tells me every day, which I love her for it. So
that's what I tell my wife. I'm like, you're lying to me.
Yeah.
She's like, you big old devil. Well, man, this Harbinger right here, there's a reason they won world's best bourbon with this right here. It's I think this is right here is 115 proof. Mm-hmm. Folks, under $50 right here. Wherever you can find it. It doesn't stay on the shelf long. And if somebody sees me like in a store and I see a bottle of it, they're like, well, hey, I recognize you. You're that whiskey guy. Mm-hmm. What are you buying? And I'm like, oh, I'm picking up a bottle of this Harbinger right here. And they're like, what? I've never heard of that. Well, let me tell you about it. Mm-hmm. Of course, my wife is probably rolling her eyes and thinking, where's he at? Why is he taking so long in this whiskey store? But this is one of the bottles right here that I tell people to pick up and gift to people to share what Texas is all about. Now, you see a lineup of whiskey back there behind me. That, like I said, that Jimmy's bourbon from Keepersall, Giant, Milam Greene, the 1845, old Bob and Miguel up there. Man, if you haven't been to Lowry Crossing, and that bottle right there is going to be in competition for one of my whiskeys of the year. I'm only going to have one, but it is in the running for that. So to compete against other whiskeys out there from Kentucky, from Tennessee, from Indiana, Scotland, or Ireland, that's saying something about a Texas whiskey. Somebody that definitely deserves to be up there. Somebody that's putting out something great. That's what I'm looking for. Has there been any bottles like that to you? Do you have a whiskey of the year kind of category?
I don't do that. Just because I find whiskey is kind of fluid for me. It all depends on the mood that I'm in. There are definitely bottles that I reach for more often than others. But it's just, I have a lot of choices, and it just kind of whatever strikes the mood at the moment. So
I noticed those Treaty Oak bottles are pretty empty.
Yeah. These ones right here. Yeah. So
now, have you been out to Treaty Oak since they're kind of rebranded? Since they're
yeah, I actually picked these up just as they launched the rebrand. So I did not get any of the new rebranded bottles, but they're changing just kind of the names and just a new label. It's still the same whiskey. Day Drinker Bourbon is going to small batch, things like that. So, you
brought up in the first half some of the hate on Texas whiskey and that Texas. I always hear that. It's got that Texas funk. It's too oaky. It's too this or it's too that. And then same people will try to shove a 18-year-old Knob Creek in my face and say, hey, drink this. And I'm like, that's got that oaky. Kentucky funk on it and really, really oaky. But you don't like that Texas whiskey that's oaky. Mm-hmm. And there are Texas whiskeys that are still like that can have set too long maybe, or it's just that humid or it's that heat from Texas. But a lot of Texas distilleries have found a way to tame this Texas heat and manage their barrels a little better. Have you found that over the last couple of years?
Yeah, absolutely. Texas whiskey has just... it has been exponentially better year after year, in my opinion. So it's things that I had tried maybe 4 or 5 years ago are much more. What's the word? They're, I'd say, evolved. I don't know. What's the word for that?
You're asking the wordsmith for that.
I know. Give me some words.
I would say they're coming of age, right?
Yes.
These distilleries, these young craft distilleries, are actually like teenagers and stuff, and they're finding their way through the world, and they are becoming young adults in the whiskey community and stuff, and that whiskey is aging, and the distillers are getting a lot more practice under them, and they're figuring out how this works. And I always like to point out, listen, Kentucky's been making whiskey for a long time, and Texas isn't saying, hey, we're better than Kentucky. Well, unless you're Steel Austin. Steel Austin has said that.
That's true. They say that. Yeah.
But what they're saying is, hey, we can make good whiskey down here in Texas. And I'd say if you've drinking Texas whiskey in the past and it wasn't for you, come back and retry it. Go to a bar here in Texas or wherever you're at and you see some Texas whiskey, try it. If you see Steel Austin on a shelf at a bar, get yourself a pour of it and you will be shocked. I will guarantee you that.
Well, on that note, I want to say, like, it's maybe you tried the wrong thing. If you come to Texas trying a Texas bourbon and you're used to Kentucky bourbon, it's not going to be the same thing. It's going to be different. But Texas is so varied in what they produce that maybe you need to try something else. Maybe you need to try a different distillery. Maybe you need to try a different style. The single malts that we have out here are killing it. They are incredible. Some of the corn whiskeys, some of the experimental things that are going on, oh my God. Maybe you tried one Texas whiskey and you didn't like it. Go try something else, There's such a variety that it's just trying one is not going to give you a good picture of what Texas whiskey is.
Yeah, that's like saying, I don't like any of Kentucky bourbon and stuff, but there's so much out there that you could try and stuff, and one style might not fit you perfectly, whether it's the sweet mash or sour mash, or it's a high rye or a low rye, or a weeded bourbon, whatever it is, or the new American single malts coming out. With Texas whiskey, there is so much variety out there. There's so many different things. What is it, Swift out there that with a fox on it, that's out there in the hill country. They are producing some American single malts that just blow your mind and stuff. Julian actually whipped out some American single malts for me.
Did he?
And let me try some stuff. It's not ready yet, but I will tell you, Giant has it coming on, and Julian's going to knock some people's socks off here. To me, their whiskey's already great. But I think people look at Giant as a pariah, where they had that first bottle that kind of looked like
I know what bottle.
Oh, it looked like the Genie bottle. I'm trying to think. Willet, the big Willet pot still bottle. And a lot of people, I still see those on the shelves and stuff, but those are soon going to go away, and you'll see that like the typical whiskey bottle back there. That's the bottles you want to look for.
Yeah, this is their new style.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
my
mean,
latest.
and they're super amazing. Just so much variety in the Texas Whiskey Trail. Texans are loving to drink some whiskey. And talking about Texas whiskey, Texas whiskey stores aren't open on Sunday here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever think that'll change?
I can hope and wish. Laws are tricky things, and they change slowly. So, I mean, we literally, 4 years ago, we went from a distillery being able to sell 2 bottles to 4 in a month. So getting that changed is going to be monumental if it is, but that would be nice if it did.
Well, I agree with you. Well, Caleb, man, this has been a great conversation, I think, about the Texas Whiskey Trail, about Texas whiskeys, what's great out there, what people can expect. Do you have any like little tidbits or news that nobody knows yet that you've got tucked away that you can tell somebody about?
You want me to spill some secrets? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe just one.
Man, I don't. Well, there's some good stuff coming out this month from some local distilleries. You've already heard about the Provisions bourbon, which I was drinking earlier. Ranger Creek has a new one coming out. If you pay attention to their socials, you'll know about it. And there are some interesting things coming from Shiner. So I would say pay attention to Shiner Distillery or Shiner Bock. Most people know them for beer. But that's about all I'm going to say about that. So.
Yeah, Shiner is. I want to work with those guys. I want to do a show there and stuff, and they're just not ready yet. But as soon as they are, I'm hoping to bring them on the show. And I'm hoping to go down to San Antonio and make it a trip of the distilleries out there and do a couple shows there. And really, I need to go out to Garrison Brother in High Texas and do a show out there on the whiskey trip because I haven't had them on the show yet and feature them. But I'm not all just a Texas show, so I gotta spread the love a little bit.
I get you.
Where can listeners find you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm on TikTok and Instagram. I focus on Instagram because that's kind of where I started. But TX Whiskey Geek is my handle on Instagram. And I run a website too, just because I can't touch on everything that happens in Texas whiskey in a minute and a half. So you can also find www.texaswhiskeygeek.com, where I've got a calendar of events of things that are happening in Texas. So,
well, folks, I'm telling you, man, go check this guy out. Now we're gonna give away this bottle right here of Milam Greene. This is a signed bottle. I'm gonna put it up there for you. The ladies there signed it for me. I gotta thank them. You'll see everybody, even Miss Marlene Holmes out there.
she's great.
Their master distiller right there. This is the triple cask. I believe this is at 94 proof. What we're going to do here for this giveaway, we're going to run it for a week. What you're going to have to do on Instagram or on TikTok, either one, Instagram and TikTok. First off, I want you to go out there and follow the Texas Whiskey Geek. Then you got to follow the old whiskey trip. But I want you to tag 4 people. And drop a little cowboy hat in there for Texas whiskey, if you would. Just a little, I don't even know what you call that. Not a photo. Last week I had people drop a B for the honey. But drop a little cowboy hat in there. Tag 4 people. Follow the Texas Whiskey Geek. Follow the whiskey trip. We'll run this for a week right here. We'll pick a winner and stuff on Monday evening. You got to reside in the United States and you got to be 21 years of age to win this bottle right here. I tell you what I'll also do is I'll throw in one of my glasses, one of my rocks glasses I'm drinking out of right there for you. big old rocks glass because I crush those little Glencairns all the time, which is not good for my hands if you've ever crushed one of those. But what a great giveaway. I want you to follow this guy right here, Caleb. I want you to check out his commentary on social media. I want you to go on there and comment on his posts and stuff. And if you were looking for an event in the state of Texas, if you're here visiting on business, before you come, check his stuff out because he's putting the information out there for events every week. There's something going on. I'm totally shocked about how much the Texas Whiskey Trail is putting on every week, and Caleb is your place for that information. I'd like to say for you to come to the Whiskey Trail. I just don't have time to put that out there.
Yeah.
But Caleb does. And I like to, you know what I like to say, rising tides raise all ships, and we're going to raise his ship. Go over there and follow Caleb at TikTok and on Instagram, and put in for a bottle of this right here, this Milam Greene triple cask.
Chief, let me sweeten that pot. I have these shirts that I have on the website. I will throw one of those in for the winner.
Awesome, man. So a shirt too. So a glass, a shirt. You can rock it out like a Texas Whiskey Geek. You can get a bottle, and then you can post a bottle of that. Now, if you like what Caleb's spitting out, if you like what he's saying, make sure you leave him a review on Facebook, on Instagram, on his website, on Google, wherever you can leave the man a review. Those reviews will help him out and stuff. Tell your friends about his show. I'm telling you, he's telling the truth. He puts it out there right, and he does it the right way. And that's what I love right there. He's not out there putting false information out. He's not out there doing it for the money. He's doing it for the right thing. It's a passion, and that's what we're all about. Well, Caleb, any last words for our listeners out there?
You know, I really appreciate you having me on the show. This has been fun. Like, I enjoy just chatting with you, even on or off the show, man. So I really do appreciate you inviting me on. So,
well, man, once again, thank you for taking this ride with a whiskey trip. And I got some shows coming up here, folks, to kind of break up the distillery shows. But I'm going to have a show where I'll have 4 or 5 different influencers on with me, and maybe we can get a Emiliano, Sin Bourbon, and Film and Flask on one show with Caleb. That'd be a hell of a show.
That would be
there,
quite a show, yeah.
the 5 of us talking about just Texas whiskey and whiskey in general is a good thing, because we all love regular whiskey too, other whiskeys besides Texas whiskey. So look for something like that from us all. If you see Caleb at a show or at a whiskey festival, make sure you go up to him and give the man a big old hug.
Yeah, please say hi, or if you're not a hugger, that's fine.
Well, listeners, you know where you can find old Big Chief. You can find me at The Whiskey Trip on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and now I'm also on YouTube. Make sure you go up there, hit that button up there, that subscribe button. I'm trying to build that channel right there. I'm at 212 or something like that. I love to reach 500 before the end of the year. It would be amazing for me. If you're listening to me, make sure you listen to Mark and Matt from The Bourbon Life on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. You'll see a new look for the old Big Chief on there. Under The Bourbon Life, you'll see my logo up there now. So when you type in The Whiskey Trip, you'll see my episodes with my logo, which is amazing. But if you like what you're hearing, make sure you leave us that 5-star review and some comments on Apple Podcast. It helps open up doors to distilleries and get great guests on my show, like the Texas Whiskey Geek. Gets great whiskey in my hand, like this Milam Greene giveaway, like that Ironroot Harbinger or that Steel Austin right there. It always helps me put out great content. But once you leave that review on Apple Podcasts, take and copy it, put it over on my Facebook page, The Whiskey Trip. I'm at 73 reviews. I'd love to beat 100 reviews before the end of the year. That helps that algorithm. It helps me out. It tells you people that you're listening to me, and then I put out great content. I would really appreciate that. It helps me do these giveaways as well. It warms my heart and wants me to open up my whiskey cabinets right there. That's just one of my whiskey cabinets you can kind of see a little peak there. Them bottles just kind of shining back there. But I got whiskey to give away, folks. And that's what it's all about, is sharing your whiskey. And I want to share some whiskey with you. So keep listening every week. Put in for these giveaways right here. I got a bunch to ship out right now, but keep putting in for them. And I'm going to keep giving them away. These distilleries are going to keep hooking it up. Guys like Caleb putting in stuff too, like t-shirts. I love it. This is Old Big Chief, and thanks for taking this ride with me, baby.